This is video number 3 in Excel Module 3 for the Shelly Cashman textbook on Office 365. We're on page 3-30 and we're going to add a sparkline chart to the worksheet. Let's take a look at number 1 on page 3-30. We want to go to I4. So column I, this is the chart column, row 4. We want to go to our Insert tab up here. And there's a sparklines group. So sparklines are like miniature graphs that are miniature charts that appear in one cell only. So we're telling it we want to insert a line sparkline. So we want to click on line here. Then it wants to know where's the data. Well, the data is going to be everything here. We don't want to include the total. We just want January through June. We want it to go in I4. If you start off in I4, that's where it'll put it by default. Go ahead and click on OK, and we see a little chart there. Now let's flip over to page 3-32. We want to click the More button, which is this little down arrow with a little hyphen above it. Click on that. We want to pick a different style. One we want is, it looks like the 4th row over here. It's called Blue Sparkline Style Accent 1, lighter 40%. Let's go ahead and select that. So it's a little bit different shade of blue. Now we want to copy this down. And because these numbers all basically depend on what's up here in row 4, the sparklines are pretty much going to look the same for every single row. So let's go to the bottom of page 3-32. We want to select the range I4 to I16. We've already got that selected from our previous operation. Click the Sparkline Tools Design tab to make it the active tab. So that's up here. Click the Column button in the Type group, so that would be this. And it changes everything into a column chart instead of a line chart. Select cell I18 and go ahead and save. Now we're going to move on to formatting the worksheet. That's going to start on the bottom of page 3-34. Select the range B4 to H4. So row 4 from B through H. And then we want to select rows 6, 9, 14, and 16. So here's row 6. Got to hold the control key down. 9, 14, and 16. So instead of doing 5 separate formats, we can just hold the control key down, select all 5 lines, and format them all the same way at the same time. Now let's go up here for our number formats and let's choose currency. Remember, currency is the same as accounting, except the $ floats right up next to the number instead of being on the left edge of the cell. So go ahead and choose currency. And every one of those gets a $, it gets a comma if the number is over 1,000, and it gets a decimal point in 2 decimal places. Now let's go to page 3-35, number 2. We've already clicked OK. So the next thing we're going to do is select the range B5 to H5 as the next range to format. So B5 to H5 is right here. And we're going to do the same thing we did a minute ago. These other rows here that are not either the first or the bottom row. So you might think we'd want to format these with the comma, but if I click on the comma here, there's a little bit of a problem, and that is that when the comma format puts a little bit of space here, and the currency format does not. So the numbers don't quite line up, and that's going to look a little bit funny. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to modify the currency format. So we want to go to the Home tab, and in the number group, we want to go to the dialog box launcher here. We want to select currency, so it'll match what we've got here. 2 decimal places. The default symbol is a $, but we don't want a $. So we're just going to turn that off. Click on OK. Now the numbers are lined up. If we had chosen accounting or comma, we would have gotten that extra space over there on the right side of the cell. Personally, I think it's easier just to use accounting for anything with a $, and use comma for anything where you don't want a $, but there is another way to do it using currency and removing the $, from the currency format. So now we're at the bottom of page 3-36. We want to do a control home to go to cell A1. It's not a very large spreadsheet. You don't really need to do that. You can just go up here and click since it's already visible. Click the bold button to bold all the data in the selected column. So we need to select our column here and then click on bold, and your spreadsheet should look like that. Now we just want to select A1. I want to increase the font size. That's going to be up here in the font group. We want to increase that to 28 points. Then we want to go to A2. We want to increase the font size there to 16 points. So same thing, but just a smaller number. Then select from A1 to I2. So A1 to I2. We want to change the fill color, the background color, to dark blue, text to lighter 80%. So let's go up here. So we got two dark blue columns. Or the one we want is the first one here. So dark blue text, let's go down here and we want text to, if I pause the mouse here, it'll tell me that's lighter 80%, and that's the one that I want. So that'll give me a background color for my selection here. Then number 6 at the bottom of page 336 says, with A1 to I2 selected, it's still selected. Change the font color to dark blue accent 1. So we need to go to the font color here and choose dark blue accent 1, and that is going to be this one right here. Okay. Now let's go to page 3-37. We're going to assign cell styles to non-adjacent rows and colors to a cell. So we want to select from A3 to I3. So that's the row with the headings in it right here. And we want to apply the heading 3 style. Then we want to select row 6, row 14, and row 16. So row 6 is this one. Hold the control key down and click and drag across row 14. Hold the control key down and click and drag across row 16, stopping in column H. We want to apply the total style to those cells. So go up to your styles here. Total is on the same line with the headings. It'll make the text bold, and it'll put a single line above and a double line below. Now we're on number 4. Select A4 and click the fill color button to apply the last fill color used. So the fill color and the font color, both will remember the last color that you use, which makes it convenient, if you want to use the same color multiple times, which is a distinct possibility. So we want this to be a light blue, and then we want the font color to be the same font color. So we're going to go up here and click on that. That also remembers the last one. So it'll make that a dark blue. And this is what your spreadsheet should look like now. Let's go to the top of page 338. We are going to copy a cell format using the Format Painter button. The Format Painter is a really useful feature of Excel. So we want to select A4, and it's still selected. And we want to copy this format to row 6, or A6, and then all the way across row 16. So we're going to use the Format Painter. If you click on the Format Painter once, which is what I'm going to do now, and click on it, it turns to a paintbrush. And now click on it, the paintbrush goes away from the cursor and the Format Painter is turned off. Now I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go up here with the cursor still in A4, and I'm going to double click on the Format Painter. If I double click on the Format Painter, now I can format a whole bunch of stuff. Click on A6, and you notice the paintbrush is still there. Now we can go down to row 16, and we can drag the mouse all the way across row 16. So after you've dragged the Format Painter over row 16, the paintbrush is still there. There's two ways to get rid of it. You can go back and click on the Format Painter button, or the easy way is just to hit the Escape key, which I'm going to do right now. Now we're going to do these numbers down here, and we're going to select them. We want those to also have the currency format, so we're going to go up here to our General, click on Currency, and now this should match the figure at the bottom of page 3-38. Let's go to the top of page 3-39. We're going to do a little more formatting. We're going to select cell A18, which is down here. We're going to change the font size to 9 points. It's 11 right now. Change it to 9. Italicize and underline the text in A18. So we're going to do italics and underline. Then select the range A19 to B25. Change the font size for this to 9 points. Select the range A18 to B25. So we got to go back up here and get our title. Click the fill color button and the font color button. So we're going to make those the same fill color and the same font color up here. Deselect the range and save the workbook. And we'll stop there and pick up with page 339 in the next video.